Alright guys, welcome back to our Daytona edition. For any of you guys who have been watching, you saw me go down to Daytona and do a lot of filming of the vehicles down there. I gotta tell you, Florida never disappoints me. I've only been there a few times. Just never disappoints me. What a cool place to visit. Daytona is my first, actually not my first time visiting Daytona, but my first time to hang out there for a couple days, and what a great time. So this particular segment is going to be about Rat Rod Don. Okay, I met Don and his friends after spending the morning Saturday walking around. I came up on the three. Actually, they had 4 builds there, and Don started building rat rods 4 or 5 years ago. He runs a small business in Tennessee where he builds them and sells them, or builds for other people. Don was a really great guy to hang out with and talk to. All of his buddies were. In fact, I was going to do his one buddy, the motor builder that was there with him, was going to give me some tips on adjusting dual 4s. And after we got to talking, he said there is no tips. He said get rid of the elder block carburetors and put some Hollies on it. And we had a long talk about Hollies versus elder blocks, which I'm a Holly guy myself. I love Hollies. I got a whole lot of Hollies back here. But I don't have 2 matching. He suggested I put two 400 Hollies on it. NASCAR specials they used to use back in the 90s. He's going to look in and get me some. That was pretty cool. But so I hung out with Don and got to listen to him talk about his builds and his life and how he led up to building rat rods. And you'll see this. Right now you're probably seeing his builds. I did the best I could. There's people, even though it was Saturday afternoon that I filmed the cars that they built, and there was a lot of people there, so I could only get so much going on there. But I wanted to sit down with him then, but before he had to pack up. So we spent a few minutes on the back of one of his trucks and talked about everything, and that's coming here in just a minute. What I need to say is, if you guys ever get a chance to go down to this show, it was a great show. Huge turnout. The track was absolutely packed. And there was cars outside of the track. The nightlife there was amazing. You can go downtown where all the clubs and bars are, and there's a car show downtown, and you can hang out right there in front of the track, which was another nighttime party and massive car show. I really enjoyed it. Again, probably my second time to Daytona, and I had a blast. Sometimes you just got to get away from the garage and go do something different, and boy did that feed. Alright guys, Cuda Bill here with Don Hepner. He's from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and him and his buddies build all these cars. And I walked in the gate after walking around and just fell in love with these old school rods they're putting together. So Don said he'd sit down and talk to us about it. So tell us about your builds here, Don.
Well, I built this a couple years ago. I found it in an old junkyard. The guy told me it was in there. He said it was 51 Ford, and it was so bad it took me about 2 hours to find it. And then all it was a cab and a frame, and the rest of it was pretty bad shape. So didn't know what to do with it, and I said, well, I'll make a rat rod out of it.
Yeah.
So
I'm in love with rat rods today. All the years of building the Chevelles, the Cudas, all that, they're all just cookie cutter to me now. Yeah. So now it's the rough. We're old and rusty, right? You know what you said, old and rusty.
Old and rusty.
So now we're building old and rusty.
Yeah. So I wanted something different. I was a truck driver my whole life since I was about 16. So I said, well, it'd be cool if I made it into look like a Cuda Bill, coming down the road.
Right.
So that's what I made. It looked like a little Cuda Bill coming down.
He does.
Yeah. So I put the stacks on it, put a visor off a Cuda Bill, and lit it up. It's got horns on it,
nice.
Truck horns, and stretched it out. And it's got the original frame off of 51, and I stretched the frame 2 feet in the front and cut it, and it's a little scary to drive. I've had wheel pop a couple times, and
Yeah, I imagine these big meats are not easy to hold down.
no, but I hit a bump one time going across the bridge. It's got no power steering,
Ugh.
and I spun it twice, and scared the crap out of me. I thought I was gonna wreck.
These kids have no clue today with these
No.
old, you know?
Yeah.
They ought to learn how to drive in like a 1970 Imperial or
Oh
something.
yeah, you gotta drive it.
Yeah,
know?
you gotta drive it.
Yeah.
Manhandle it.
I actually started driving because my dad went to Vietnam, and I was 12. I lived in Alabama, and he had a 63 Cadillac,
Nice.
and my sister was handicapped, and my mom couldn't speak English. So I got my license when I was 12, and I was
Whoa.
driving a 63 Cadillac.
Well, where'd
And that's what I lived in Fort Rucker, Alabama.
Oh, shit.
And that's what got me into cars, and old cars.
Yeah.
And I've loved them ever since.
Well, my dad had a 65 Cadillac. He used to, when we were little kids, he'd turn the turn real fast and we'd slide across the back seat.
Oh, yeah.
They thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
No seatbelts, who cares? You know, bang, bang, bang. We all bang into each other. All the good old days.
I gotta tell you a funny story about my mom. My mom was Italian, you know, and I used to take my dad's car, and I used to ride around with my buddies and, you know, get in trouble by, you know, taking his car and doing burnouts.
Yeah.
And I never knew, I'm like, hey, I was doing burnouts, right? And my mom said, would you quit doing burnouts with your dad's car? And I said, how do you know I'm doing that? He said, your dad always puts his toolbox on the right side of his car in the trunk. And he said, when you guys get home, his toolbox is in the left side of the car. And so
Dad,
she told
dude.
him, she said, put your toolbox back in the other side of the car and he'll never know.
Mom and Dad's always had a way. They
Oh,
always
yeah.
had a way, man.
But that's
So
the only
cool.
way we got in trouble. But I love cars, and I build rat rods now. I still build
You
them.
build them for other people? I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
sell 'em?
we will.
I mean, you got a pretty impressive setup here. Big
Yeah,
truck and-
yeah, but we normally have a double decker, but we didn't bring it this year. But we stay busy. We're building a 51 Willys wagon. It's stretched out like this, and then we're building a couple of Grummins, and we also have a 51 LaFrance fire truck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
A firebug.
Yeah,
A fire truck bug.
we're
Yeah.
slamming it to the ground, and we took the tank and everything out of the back, and we're running the exhaust out the water ports with hoses hooked up.
Okay, yeah.
We're putting Alcoas on it, and it should hold about 20 people. So when we go to the rod run, we'll be able to take about 20 people and hang out with
Oh,
it.
nice.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
Yeah, it took me about 15 years to buy it from the lady.
Oh, but you had the vision.
Yeah.
Man, that's.
Yeah.
I was down in Ocean City and I was chasing this old truck, this old Diamond T. Because the vision he had in his head, and that's what my site's about. We had back in the day, we had visions in our head. Today, kids pick up a magazine and get everything from a magazine. But we didn't have magazines. We had junkyards.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we had to go to the junkyard, and we had a vision, so we knew what part was going to go where and how we were going to be able to cut it. That's freaking cool. What's your next show? I want to see it.
It's in March. I think it's March. It's Rats to Beaver.
Oh, you were telling me that. I want to. Yeah.
It's a really good show. It's at the Beaver Bar. It's all rat rods, and then they have another big car show right down the street. I'm not sure. Charlie told me what it was, and it's a great show. A lot of rat rods. They got a lot of diesel rat rods, which I could never build a diesel rat rod. I love diesels.
Yeah.
I've got a big monster diesel pickup truck. It's 12-inch lift and all that. It's a 4-door. I mean,
I spent 15 years building ISM,
Yeah.
so I get to come to
Yeah,
these.
and I call it Miss Piggy. I've had it since it was new. But last year a tree fell on it and crushed it.
Oh.
And I've cut it completely apart and redone it. It's in my paint booth right now.
Okay.
But you know, I've got so many projects. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah, you know, I keep putting this whole website on hold because I got projects. And guys want to come to my shop and follow me with the camera. Man, get away from me.
Yeah, I know.
I ain't got time to do.
Yeah,
I'm not here to tell you how to screw a screw in.
Yeah.
You know, so I have to go out and do it like this. But
Yeah.
I love meeting guys like you, guys with a vision and just, you know, hey, it's amazing you're doing it at your age. I hope.
Yeah, I'm actually like Mike. I met Mike last year. He moved up from Miami, and I was fortunate to meet him. And he actually built the motor for that's going in the Willies. And we've called this stretch ever since we built it, because nobody's seen one like this stretch as long as it's been.
Right.
And actually the Willies is actually longer than this.
Really?
This was in Rod magazine, and a few years ago. We built this about, I'm not sure. Kind of keep track when you get older, you know.
How old are you now?
I'm actually 67.
Oh, bless your heart.
I mean, I still feel young.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
You know,
My
but-
brain says I'm 30, but the body says you're 65. So
Yeah, but I built it 3 years ago, and I got a great fabricator, well, Terry. You know, I get the vision and stuff and design. He helps me. He's a great guy, and we call the shop UTK, and it's for Don, Karen, and Terry. Karen's my wife, and Terry's my fabricator.
Okay.
And so she takes care of the money, I spend the money, and he welds everything up. So it's a great combination.
Right.
He'll be here next year. He's never been. All the years we've been coming down, he's never been.
Why? Busy?
He's busy. He's busy. I know he's not right. He needs to find somebody. And but
That's hard. That's harder than you think today,
it is
man.
nowadays. Yeah, it's hard. But we need to
I'm
find somebody.
trying to find a car girl that would support all this and help you run the business,
This
man.
guy's a mechanic. He can fix anything. I mean, this guy's phenomenal. Now we'll probably have 5 bands next year.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come find you. Now, what's the Willys, man? You hit a chord. My very first car was a '56 Willys CJ3D, and then my dad got into an M38A1. That's what I learned to do all this. I was 9 years old working on this thing. So Willys, I got a love for. What's the Willys? What do you build?
It's a 51 Willys wagon.
Okay.
It was 4-wheel drive, and the body was in pretty good shape. And all we did use of it was the back end for the firewall back, and we took the grill, and I took just the grill and cut it all up, the whole front end. I mean the grill. I cut everything off of it and fabricated it exactly like the grill on this.
Oh wow.
So it's got the same thing. You know, this is piston rods and headlight brackets.
Right.
Are piston rods out of a Caterpillar motor. I did the same thing with this, and I've got the same headlights to make it look to match. We've always wanted to have a matching pair, but the Willys is 23 feet long. This is 19 and a half feet long.
Wow. Okay.
So the grill looks kind of familiar, and if you notice everything on this, the flying eyeballs, the shifters, the knobs, it looks like eyeballs. I make all that.
Wow.
So I've always done artwork and all that. I make all that. So,
That's cool.
yeah, so I like to do artwork. So I like to fabricate. So, you know,
I miss it. I miss it. But I'm gonna do this. This is my new artwork.
yeah,
Going
this
out
is
and doing
great.
this and
I like
talking
to see
people.
guys do that. I mean, I'm not saying I love cars, every kind of car. I'm just not into. I mean, I've seen a million
Yeah.
Camaros.
Yeah.
You can only paint them a certain way, but if you line up 100 Camaros,
It's the same Camaro.
but if you go to a Mustang show and put 200 Mustangs out here, you're looking at 200 Mustangs.
Right.
But I tell you what, at this show this year, there's a Cobra out in the parking lot for sale.
Really?
A yellow one. And that's the prettiest Cobra I've ever seen.
Wow.
It's got a blower in it and everything. It's sitting out there. Can we hear the mom?
Yeah.
We need to go see it.
Okay.
I'll show you a picture of it.
Okay.
Thanks, gorgeous. It's got alligator seat. The seats are covered in alligator.
Oh, no shit.
And a tail, right where the tail splits, goes right up the crack of the seat. It's gorgeous. It's probably one of the prettiest ones I've ever seen.
Oh, wow. Okay. There's, you know, I have a thing about Corvettes.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to stay away from them. There's a guy down here with a 74 Corvette, blown, you know,
yeah.
and it's just sweet.
Oh,
The way they set up the tires, everything's tucked in. You know, every now and then a car will reach out at me. But I've seen so many damn Chevelles, so many Cudas, so many Challengers. They're boring. And a lot of these guys don't understand that because they come to these shows to see these. But when you've built cars since you're 15 years old,
Yeah.
they're the same thing. So
Yeah.
doing something like this, you know.
Yeah, if you see the Geo tracker that's got the
I couldn't find that. I went looking, man.
you wonder.
My knees were worn out. I couldn't walk any farther. I'm telling you.
There's a Geo tracker here. It's orange. It's come to the F100 Super Nationals. Buddy of mine, Charlie Cobble, owned it for years. He was a car show. He comes here with me to this show. And it's got a blower set up. It's so tall on it. You think when he makes a turn it would flip over. It's here. You'll see it.
I can't wait to.
They used to come out here and eat it, you know, on the cars back and forth down the road.
Really?
Right out here. Yeah, you can see them
Out on the street
Yeah.
or in front of the.
No, out here. They're just going back and forth and driving around at night.
Okay.
And you'll think when it's so high in the air that when it goes around the corner, you think it's going to fall over.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny, but I seen it do a burnout last year, and I thought it was just looks, and it'll really work.
I don't know how you hold them things to the ground, man. It's such a little car.
I know. You might as well do a smart car, you know, a blower on a smart
It won't be long. Somebody will do
No.
one. It won't be long.
No.
You know, a friend of mine had a Gremlin with a big block in it.
You know,
Oh my God!
I've had a lot of cars, and I've got a lot of cars now, a bunch of Harleys, but that's the only car. You know, you get older and your memory goes bad. But I had a Gremlin, and I loved that car, and it's the only car. I don't know whatever happened to it. I don't know whatever
Really?
happened to it. Yeah, I had
Wow.
an old one, had no rust in it, and I don't know whatever happened to it because I wanted to tub it out and put a blower in it, and I don't know
Wow.
whatever happened to it.
Well,
And there's one here.
my first Cuda is a movie producer owned it in California.
Wow.
He called me and wanted to know if I was the first owner, wanted me to get a copy of the title. I was blown away, okay, because it started out in Delaware, went over to, God, I think it went to Virginia, and then this guy sold it to a producer out there. The only one I can't find is my Williams.
No.
I sold it out of the backyard to get my Cuda, and I've never found it again. Never seen it
I'll
again.
tell you what, you guys, if you want to find some old cars, I hate to say tell everybody this, but
But this guy had a mountain of cars. Man, I'm about to come down and see it. I'm going to get in the motorhome and travel across country. I got to come see it.
you know where I live in a little town called Harrisville, Tennessee.
Okay.
And if you guys, any of you his viewers, you watch the show Moonshiners,
Yeah.
that's Harrisville, Tennessee.
Okay.
That's where all the moonshiners live. Mark and Digger, all those popcorn. When I bought my property, I was sitting there and I was cutting my hay field, and this old man drove through my hay field. And I'm like, hey old man, what are you doing driving in my hay field? I was cutting my hay. And he goes, I'm popcorn. And he was driving up to his house, and I said, can't be going through my hay field. And it was popcorn and moonshine.
no.
And that's
Popcorn
how I met.
stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody knows that name.
Yeah. And that's who it was.
Oh, wow.
And the car that he killed himself in is still sitting at the end of my property. Yeah. He lives right there. Pam lives there. Mark and Digger, J.B. Raider, all of them are. J.B. Raider lives right around from me. Yeah, they're all cool people. I mean, it's just old people, but there's mountains of cars down there. Great old cars.
I want to come see someone.
Yeah. You'll have to come see.
I love my whole life going to the junkyard to get parts. And you just float around the yard. You didn't need that part. You didn't need nothing off that car, but we never looked at it anyway. So yeah, I love doing that. I'm happy to come in and do that.
Yeah, if you guys need any motors built, that guy right there,
Yep.
Big Mike.
He told me that I told everybody this afternoon on a 1-minute video that I was going to get training on how to adjust old Ford. Well, he sat me down and he gave me training. He said 30 outer blocks away.
Yeah. Big Mike, man, this guy's unreal.
He said 30 elder blocks away, get some hollies. So I guess I'm gonna go with some hollies. He said, I ain't talking to you about fixing elder blocks.
Yeah, you had to do a video.
So no class on elder blocks, okay? I guess I'm gonna throw them away and get some hollies. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, so, dude, I super thank you for doing this.
Stop by the shop anytime.
I'm gonna download this tonight to make sure it came out right with the voice and stuff, because I've been struggling with voices. I hope we don't have to redo it tomorrow, but I thank you, man.
I'll be here.
Your rods are, they're cool. They're cool as shit.
You've got plenty of room to stay as long as you want.
All right, brother. All right.
Thanks.
Yep, thank you. Thank you.
Let me start out by saying I got to work on my mic setup. That was the best I could get that out. There were several generators running in the background. There were golf carts running behind us because their setup was right next to the edge of the track. And there was music playing on the loudspeakers for everybody who didn't see in the car show. And all that bled in. I mean, even with my boom mic, it didn't take it down that much. So I couldn't do much about the sound. You can hear us. Sorry about that. I'm heading out to Don's place in another month or two. And we're going to do another one with his shop because Don had an impressive setup and me and him really got along real good. Don, again, thank you so much for bearing with me there at the car show and taking the time to spend with me and do that interview. And I can't wait to come out and see your shop. So up next is the Daytona ride around the track and a lot of pictures that I got at the track I'm going to share with you as the next video coming out, which will be out this weekend as well. And bear with me, guys. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get better at it. So hope you enjoy what I did. Don was a great guy to talk to, and he's building some really cool cars. So again, even though the audio is a little rough, I hope you guys stay tuned because it's going to get a lot better. 2024 is going to be solely about the internet social media sites. We're going out on 3 or 4 of them, and we're going to push hard to travel across the country and see a lot of real cool automotive stuff and share it with everybody online. Cuda Bill style, MotorHeadMen style, catching up with everybody that's out building these cars today in the backyards, not the big professional shop. So stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, like, share, you know, the blah blah blah. And thanks.